Hello, everyone, and welcome to our orientation for international students here at Fleming College, Spring 2024. Today, our session is about academic integrity, one of those topics that we mentioned in our Immigration 101 that is very, very important to understand. And I have with me Carmen and Rebecca, and they're going to introduce themselves and also do the presentation for you. Welcome to our session.
So my name's Rebecca. I'm library staff at Frost Library, so the Lindsay campus, and I'll be talking about academic integrity today. And then towards the end, my colleague Carmen is going to jump in and share some library information with you as well. I don't know if
Yes,
Carmen
I'm
wants to
Carmen
introduce
Gillette.
herself.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm Carmen Gillette. I'm a library technologist at the Sutherland campus. And yeah, look forward to talking to you about important library services and how to connect with us and get help from the library and the kinds of things that we offer at the library for you all. Thanks,
So I
Rebecca.
believe we're going to have time for questions at the end, but I think you can put them in the chat at any point. And we'll try and get back to them when it's question time. So you don't have to hold on to it. You can put it in the chat and we'll try and kind of circle back at the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd like to
so
ask you guys just to put the questions once, so you don't have to repeat the question. Sometimes students keep putting the questions one after another, and that will just spam the chat. So make sure that you put your question just once, and that will help us in the end to answer questions quickly. Thank you.
yes, we'll try and get to everybody. And usually people have the same kind of questions anyways, so keep an eye on the chat as we go. Okay, so academic integrity, super important topic. Basically, this quote here is coming from our Fleming College policies. So it says, within an academic environment, academic integrity is a commitment, even in the face of adversity, to 6 fundamental values. Okay, we have honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. From these values flow principles of behavior that enable academic communities to translate ideals into action. Okay, so all the academic integrity policies that we have here at the college are based on these 6 values: staff, students, and faculty. Okay, so it's a team effort. We try and uphold these values so that you can feel good about earning all of your grades and you can feel good about graduating with a diploma that has value. Okay, so why does it matter to you? It's not just policies that we want you to follow. It's actually steps that are going to help you succeed here at the college and beyond. Okay, so upholding all of those values, honesty, fairness, respect, responsibility, those are all skills that you'll be able to build and then use while you're here. So it's going to help you in the classroom. Okay, maintaining honesty and integrity with the work that you submit is the key to success and progress. Okay, it's going to help with your academic evaluations. It will help with your overall success in your classes. And it's important to remember that it's okay not to be perfect. Okay, I know we all strive for the best marks that we can get. And sometimes that's when things get a little bit confusing and we might make mistakes that we weren't willing to make before. But if we can really focus on maintaining the honesty and integrity and be willing to have marks that aren't necessarily perfect, it's only going to benefit you in the long run. Okay, when we uphold these values, we want to take them with us when we do placements, co-ops, applied projects as well. It's going to help you build those skills, but also make connections for the future. Okay. It's going to help you transition into the workplace and hopefully become, you know, workers and colleagues that people want to hire and want to enjoy working with. It's going to bring value to your credentials. Like I said before, when we maintain integrity here at the college, it becomes a reputation among alumni and future employers, and it creates a lot of respect for the Fleming diploma because then and others know that everybody here is honest in their academic integrity work. So they feel happy to work with you, hire you, all of the above. Okay, it's helping you build relationships as well. So while you're here with your studies, you want to enjoy your time here and you want to build good relationships with your classmates and with your staff and faculty. Okay, so maintaining all of those values is kind of the key to success. You have to think, what do you want to be known for? Okay, so acting in a way that upholds those values is going to benefit you in multiple areas of your life and in multiple relationships that you're building here during your time at the college. So when professors ask students, when staff have asked professors, what helps a student to be successful? Okay, what helps students show their integrity? So how can you as a student show your professor that you care about upholding those values and you care about being a good student? These are the responses that were commonly received. Okay, students have to be engaged, they have to ask questions, they have to participate. Those are the biggest words in this kind of word cloud. But it's also important that students are respectful, professional, punctual, all of these things professors like to see. They want you to, act in a way that holds those values true. And when you participate and you attend your classes and you use feedback and ask questions, it's going to help you build a good relationship with faculty, build a good relationship with your classmates. And if you keep those communication lines open, it's going to show that you're an active participant in your own education. Okay, so super important to show up, ask questions, you know, be there and try and build those relationships, and that will also help you succeed with your grades as well. Okay, so lots of scenarios can happen where we have made mistakes and we end up with academic integrity violations. Okay, so violations show up on your student record. There are lots of scenarios that can kind of occur where a violation would be appropriate. So, aiding academic dishonesty, okay, that's when we are, you know, maybe sharing our work with our peers when we're not supposed to be. There are lots of different activities that are kind of dishonest in the classroom. Cheating is a big one as well. Copyright infringement. Okay, so we don't want to be breaking copyright laws when it comes to sharing pieces of books and textbooks. Misrepresentation can result in violations as well. Okay, false identity, forgery, plagiarism. That's if we are using sources without giving authors credit, if we are signing in and pretending to be friends of ours in our classrooms, if we are creating fake documents. All of these things are taken pretty seriously here at Fleming. Okay, sabotage is taken seriously as well. That occurs when others in your class are attempting to hinder your academic success or vice versa. Okay, and then we have unauthorized collaboration, which is where we're collaborating and we shouldn't be. Okay, there are a lot of different incidents and scenarios that can fall under the umbrella of an academic integrity violation. We're going to talk in detail about some of them, but it's important to be aware of these things so that we're not making mistakes accidentally. Okay, whether or not the act that constitutes a violation is intentional or accidental, the violation will still be treated seriously. Okay, so it's good to be aware of what to avoid, good to be aware of what to aim for. Okay, and we can help you along the way as well. So unauthorized collaboration is one of the most common academic integrity violations that happens here at the college. Okay, so that's when we're working with others to complete an assessment that is supposed to be completed on your own. Okay, always clarify with your professors what is expected of you with the work that you're going to submit. Okay, this also includes collaborating as a group during an online or a take-home assessment. Okay, so again, sometimes it's tempting to do work with others in the hopes that we will get higher grades. Because we all strive for being our best student. But if we want to act in a way that upholds those values of integrity, we have to be able to do work on our own and then get the grade that we deserve for the work that we have submitted. Okay, it also would count if you were splitting up assignment work without your faculty's permission. Okay, so saying you write the introduction, I'll write the next 2 paragraphs, and then we'll submit it together. Okay, we cannot be collaborating with others unless we have the permission of the faculty. Okay, another thing to be aware of is sharing files with your classmates as well. Okay, a lot of students end up sharing assignments, sharing files, sharing work, especially through WhatsApp or through shared laptops, but you have to use caution because when you are sharing work with others, students can make unauthorized use of your work. Okay, so let's say you shared an assignment with a friend who didn't know how to organize their own essay, and they ended up submitting an essay that is very, very similar to yours. Even though you did the work by yourself, because you've shared it with your friend and they've submitted work that's very similar, both of you would have potential violations on your record for that action. Okay, so keep your work to yourself and definitely ask us at the library for help if you're ever confused. Another huge violation that happens pretty frequently here at the college is plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism's a little bit tough to wrap your head around if you don't have a history of using citations. So it's definitely something that you're going to want to look into and really make note of before you get started in your classes. Okay, so plagiarism counts as passing off words or ideas that are not your own. Um, so using the work of others and not giving them credit or respect for that work. Okay, it happens when we have material that's been copied word for word or material that's been summarized in our own words without citations included. Okay, here at Fleming, we use APA style citations. This is very different for a lot of incoming students. There's a little bit of a learning curve to practicing your APA and figuring out how to form your citations. So it's really important to take a look at those things and try and understand what's expected of you before you start submitting your actual work. Okay, we need to know how to cite things properly so that we can avoid plagiarism violations on our record. Plagiarism can also happen if we're submitting an assignment that has already been graded in another course here at Fleming, in another program that you've attended, or another school. Okay, we have to be doing honest work for all of our assignments. Okay, and then submitting portions of work that's been copied from another student with or without their knowledge is also plagiarism as well. Okay, so if you have questions about that, again, please put them in the chat and we will get to them at the end. You also want to avoid submitting assignments written by other people. Okay, so we can't have friends write our assignments for us. We also cannot engage in something called contract cheating. So a lot of times, especially in WhatsApp groups, there are advertisements for students from Fleming or from other colleges who are willing to complete your work for you for a price, right? I'll write your essay if you give me, $20 per paragraph. We don't want to engage in that. That would be taken very, very seriously here at the college, and it's an example of plagiarism. Okay, cheating also happens, whether it's intentional or whether it is accidental. Basically, it can involve an unethical or dishonest act carried out by a student to gain assessment marks. Okay, so lots of things can be considered to be cheating. All of them will result in violations. Using a prohibited device also constitutes cheating, or using an application during an assessment that you're not supposed to be using. Okay, this could be having a sneak peek at your phone during an exam, but it also counts if you are using artificial intelligence and other applications when you are not supposed to be. Okay, so that brings us back to those important points of being engaged in the classroom, asking questions, participating. Okay, you have to ask your professors if you are confused as to what's expected of you, and if you have questions about what is or what isn't allowed to be used, during assignments or during tests or exams. Okay, clarity is step number 1. Sharing answers with fellow students, of course, is a cheating example, and disruptive behavior during an assessment would count as well. Okay, Sometimes you will have exams that are online here at Fleming. Failing to show your testing area in an online test will also result in a cheating violation. Okay, so definitely be aware of the different scenarios that can happen so that you can avoid those. Okay, so what happens when we have a violation? Okay, we've made a mistake, whether it was intentional or accidental, and now we have a violation on our student record. Okay, sanctions or consequences for the violation are determined based on what you've done and the level of intent in that act. Okay, at each level, there are academic sanctions and educational sanctions that could be applied. So we'll talk more about those coming up. Okay, violations are recorded on your student record and they're cumulative in nature. So multiple minor violations could be treated with severe sanctions based on your record and based on if you have multiple violations kind of piling up. Okay, with that being said, though, violations do not always start at the lower levels and build up. If you have a serious incident occur, any violation level can be applied at any time. Okay, so you can jump right up to more serious violations on your record and serious consequences associated with those, depending on the scenario that occurred. Okay, so these are the different violation levels. So the newest level that we have now is a warning level. Okay, warnings are not considered to be a true violation. Instead, it is a documented warning that goes on your student record. Okay, that is occurring where a student makes a genuine error in an assessment. Usually that's going to occur kind of in the beginning of your studies while you're still catching your bearings here. Okay, warnings do get recorded on the student record just to identify to other faculty in the future that this learning opportunity has been provided to you as a student. Okay, the next level is level 1. So usually this is a minor incident, and usually the violation that occurred has affected a small portion of your work. Okay, level 2 gets a little bit more serious. So right away we have done something that warrants a level 2 violation, or like we said before, we might already have a documented warning and we might already have one or two level 1 incidents on our record. And so the professor can decide that the action at hand might be deserving of a level 2, depending on the scenario. Okay, the same idea applies to level 3. So we're getting a little bit more serious here in terms of our actions. This is usually where serious cheating offenses would occur, the level 3 area, or students who have built up a few of the minor levels. Okay, oftentimes level 3 also involves premeditation. So like we said before, this is not an accidental occurrence. This is a decision to continue to make choices that don't uphold our academic integrity values. Okay, the last level is level 4. This is reserved for the most serious breaches of academic integrity, um, or, repeated violations at all of these different levels that have piled up. Okay, so when it comes to the different levels of violations, different consequences can apply based on the scenario at hand. Okay, so when it comes to the warning level, usually an educational sanction is recommended. So you might be asked to attend a library workshop, you might be asked to meet with library staff to get a better grasp on where you went wrong and how can you avoid it in the future. You might be able to resubmit part of your assignment. It's up to the faculty. Okay, level 1, again, usually mandatory learning is involved. So attending a workshop, completing a module, meeting with library staff. Again, you might have the chance to resubmit, or you might just get a little bit lower of a grade on your submitted work. Level 2, when we get a little bit more serious, would look like a mandatory learning module or a mandatory meeting. Okay, so not optional, you would have to complete that for your professor. Okay, oftentimes at level 2, you'd be getting 0 on your whole assignment, and resubmission is not always offered. Okay, so that's why it's important to be aware, to ask questions, and to meet with library staff, meet with your professors before you get to that level 2 area, because 0 on an assignment can really affect your overall grades. Level 3 is also a mandatory meeting or module and usually a 0 in the course. Okay, very serious. So when we look at those different scenarios that have happened, whether or not it's more serious like intentional cheating or several accidental and intentional plagiarism incidents, when these things build up or when we do something very serious, right away we're in that level 3 area, and 0 in the course is super, super serious. Okay. We don't want you to get 0 in your courses. You don't want 0 in your courses either. So anything that we can do to help you prevent getting to this level, we are definitely here to answer questions and help you along the way. Okay, level 4, again, the most serious of the violations on your record would be looking like suspension from the college. Okay, so different levels of consequences, again, based on the scenario, based on your own record and whether or not you have multiple violations, and based on what the professor thinks is appropriate based on the academic integrity guidelines. Okay, so why do you need to know all of this? Okay, if it isn't obvious, of course, all of these sanctions, all of these consequences, and these violations on your student record can impact your academic progression. Okay, things can hold you back, and in some cases that can, affect your ability to complete your studies within the time frame of your study visa. So if you're looking at 0 on a major assignment and you end up failing a class, you would have to retake that class. Same thing if you were getting 0 in a course. You don't get your tuition refunded for that, and you do have to stay and finish that class whenever it's offered again. Okay, so not ideal, definitely something we want to avoid. We want you to be as successful as possible here. Okay, we love for you to have smooth sailing through your time here at Fleming. And we want you to be able to go out into the workforce feeling confident and feeling good about your diploma. If you hold all of these academic integrity values true, okay, if you're acting with honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage, we can help you succeed. Okay, there are a lot of help and a lot of services offered to you here at the college. All of it is free to you. It's included in your tuition. So please, please make use of the library and make use of the other services that we're going to mention today as well. Okay, so we know it's really tough to be a student and especially to be an international student. Okay, there are a lot of issues that can impact you while you're here at Fleming. These are just some of the reasons that students have shared with us in the past. Okay, so you're missing your family, you're missing your friends, you're worried about making friends while you're here. It's really stressful to get good grades in your classes, to keep up with friends and family. Maybe you have a part-time job. Maybe you're worried about finances. You also might have a language barrier. Okay, there's a lot going on, and we totally understand that. And again, we want to offer you services so that you succeed. Okay, if you're engaged in your classes and you're openly communicating with your faculty, this is really going to mitigate a lot of the stresses that you might have. Okay, we have a lot of services here at Fleming that can help you deal with and overcome a lot of these stress points. Okay, integrity is a decision that you have to make. So you always have the ability to make decisions that are wrong, decisions that result in violations, decisions where you are attempting to cut corners and get the best mark possible without, acting in a way that shows integrity. Or you can make decisions that are going to lead to further success. Okay, so it's up to you. All of these things that are mentioned in that previous slide, all of the things going on in your life, the stresses, as well as all of your own personal values, okay, your own perceptions, your own fears, your own experiences. There's a lot going on inside, but the only thing that others can see are your actions. Okay, so it's personally important that you recognize that the actions that you take are a result of all these things, but you have the decision to uphold honesty and integrity in your actions always. Okay, it's not always easy, but in many cases, your actions are the piece that others see and get to know first. So you have to consider what you want to be known for here at college and then in the workforce and beyond. Okay, how do you want to interact with your classmates? How do you want to interact with your peers, with your friends, with your professors, with all your future career connections? All of these things matter. So really try and make the right choices and then also make use of the services here at the college. Okay, we have a lot of services to help you succeed. Of course, step number one is your faculty. Faculty are here for you. Don't be afraid to ask them questions if you have them. Don't be afraid to set up meeting times, ask them questions that you might think are silly. You can always reach out to them for help. Okay, the library is here to support you as well. We are experts in academic integrity, in research, in citations, and so we can definitely help mitigate a lot of those stresses for you. Tutoring and academic skills can help with that as well. Okay, as a student, you are entitled to 2 hours of tutoring per week. It's a really heavily used service here at the college because everybody wants to do their best and succeed. Okay, so make use of it. We also have counseling. Okay, so if we think back to that slide where we have stresses, where we have a lot of things going on in our lives, we take mental health really seriously here at the college as well. So you can see counselors even if you just need somebody to talk to. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can meet and we can help you there too. Okay, we have recreation, so you can have some fun, you can de-stress and play sports, gather together with your student associations. Okay, and then we have those student councils to help you answer questions, to help you get acquainted with the college, and to help represent you as a student as well. Okay, like I mentioned before, all of these services are free to you. You have already paid for them with your tuition. So please make use of them, get involved, participate here on campus, and you're going to end up having a really great, successful time. Okay, so that brings me to um, all the services that the library offers specifically. So that will we'll turn to Carmen to cover these things. And this QR code is right to the library website in the corner as well, so you can bookmark that and save it if you'd like.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. And hello, everyone. I'll also just put the link to the library homepage in the chat there. So yes, we have a lot of supports and resources for you that will help you maintain academic integrity and avoid plagiarism. And also all kinds of other important skills that you need to know and use to be successful here, and that your faculty will expect you to have a good grasp of. And they expect you, if you don't know about these skills or you don't have them, they expect you to seek out that help yourself. So being proactive, working for yourself, making the effort there to make sure you understand these things. Some of the resources that are directly related to avoiding plagiarism and maintaining your academic integrity can be found on our website. There is an APA citation guide and also guides for other citation styles if you need that. But our APA guide is the most commonly used, and it is a very comprehensive and robust guide. So when you're going to cite something, you have that guide open on another tab on your computer. So you don't have to keep navigating back to it. Keep it open on another tab, check your citations there. It's really, I know there's lots of citation generators out there and sort of helper tools. Even within library resources, there's little citation helper tools, but you still have to be able to check those against our guide. And chances are you might have to make little changes here and there with whatever some kind of citation generator is giving you. So to build or to check citations, you have to use the library guide. And there's a video right on there showing you how to use the guide. There's other slide supports that can help you learn. You can also just come into the library and ask, say, I'm trying to cite this source. This is what I've got. How does it look? Or, hey, who's the author here? I can't quite tell. Like, there's infinite variety in the types of sources you'll be citing. So come on in, come up to the desk and ask a question. Okay. There's also workshops. Rebecca and I are giving tons of workshops all the time on APA citations and specifically on avoiding plagiarism as well. So you'll see these workshops, some of them are in person, there's lots of virtual options as well. So we try and give you a variety of something that's going to work for you in your schedule. So seek these out even before you think you might need them. It can really help you get a handle on those skills, but also other important skills that you need to finish your assignments, like research skills. The library provides you access to like premium subscription databases for academic journal articles, ebooks, videos like that relate to your courses, all of that stuff, and also searching for our print books that are out in the stacks there on the shelves. You can search all of that from our website. And it's a very powerful tool. So again, we have videos that can help you use that tool, or come to a workshop, or just come up to the desk and ask. It's quite amazing the things you can do and how powerful this tool is to help you do your research. In a lot of cases, it's better than just, out there on Google looking around in the wide world of the web. We have way more focused resources for you. Okay. Some other things that are useful in maintaining your academic integrity would be we have a Turnitin guide that you can use to make your own Turnitin account, when that will check for possible instances of plagiarism. So Turnitin is a software that your faculty might use to check for possible instances of plagiarism, but you can also use that as a proactive proofreading tool. So be sure to read your course outline for many reasons, to see if your faculty is using it, to see their stance on academic integrity and other types of skills. But then you can also use our website to help you learn how to use these other tools. So definitely go to our website. There's a video that can tour you around and see what's there. There's also a big calendar on our website for all the different workshops that we give. So we will be holding those throughout the summer, probably a limited scope of topics. The most important ones: avoiding plagiarism, APA citations, finding articles, so your research skills, and maybe a couple other ones. But then in the fall term, we'll also have a full roster. We have I think at least 10 topics that we do. So connect with us on those things. We also, from the website, have a virtual chat help that's available. So if you're working from home, you just have a quick question, take advantage of the chat button there to get some help right on the spot there. Or if it's an in-depth research thing and you really want to sit down with one of us, you can book an appointment and we'll sit down with you and go through something, whether it's research or citations. Those are the two most common areas. But we can help you with all kinds of things that way. And we have lots of, it's a great space to hang out as well. Both of our libraries are beautiful, sort of calm oases, where you can work on your group work, you can sit alone. There's silent spaces, quiet spaces. We also have computers. Some people just prefer to do all their work in the library, like Rebecca and I do. So come and check out the space. You might find your favorite spot to read or think, or just be around other people who are studying, and you can always come up to the desk at any time to get help. So it's a great place to come. And we also sometimes have special events for you. So just be aware of what's going on with the library, and take the time to just take a look at our website and kind of get familiar with what we have. So I think that's everything. I could go on and on about how wonderful the library is, but I want you to check that out for yourself. And unless, Rebecca, you thought I missed anything, then I guess we can take a look at some of those questions.
Yeah, that was great. So if anyone has questions about anything library related, so workshops, databases, anything Carmen mentioned, or if you have questions about academic integrity, usually students have a lot of questions about violations and consequences. So yeah, if you have those questions, now's the time. We can take a look at the chat.
So I can address one question that I saw there. Do you have to buy all your textbooks as soon? It's best to have your textbooks right off the bat. And I will say, I'm glad to see that question, because I want to make sure you know that the library does not have all your textbooks. That's not the basis by which we buy the books in our collection. Our collection is to help supplement your studies and your research, your projects, the work that you're doing on your assignment. So it is, yes, important to get the list of textbooks you need from the bookstore and go about trying to acquire those, buying them through the bookstore website, or you may be able to find them used, or the bookstore has lots of options of used books, also sometimes a rental program for textbooks. There's different options there. So it's really important to get those right away. You may hear, oh, the library has this textbook or that textbook. So sometimes we might have some of your course readings available. That's up to your faculty member. So in the case where if they have given us a copy of the textbook, it's called reserve. And you have to come up to the desk and say, hey, is there anything on reserve, or is this book on reserve for my course? So have the course code for your individual course, and then also the title of the book itself. And then come up to us, and you can use those books, but only in the library and only for 2 hours at a time. So do not rely on the reserves. They're kind of there, oops, you forgot your textbook, or something happened, or it's just, maybe the bookstore's out of stock for a moment, or something like that. So don't imagine that the library is going to have all your textbooks is a really important message there. And it doesn't cost any money to borrow books from the library. So that is all a part of being a student here, is come in and borrow books from us. So that's that question there. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, I can try and get you that link to the bookstore.
So I have the link in there for you. You have to
Perfect,
select
thanks.
your campus, and then you can go from there.
Thanks, Rebecca. I was just scrolling and scrolling.
Relative or absolute evaluation. I'm not too sure what the difference between those are, but you're going to want to check your course outlines when you receive them. Usually professors will have a breakdown of how many marks you're going to get for each assignment, rubrics of what's expected for you for each assignment. So you can take a closer look when you have that outline. And then if you're unsure beyond that, you'll want to check with your professor.
I just would like to clarify that some countries, they do not use course outlines. So course outlines in Canada is a document. It's usually a PDF document, and it describes weekly what you're going to have, what classes you're going to have. It describes all your assignments, not the titles of the assignment, but when you're going to have the assignments due. It describes also when you have quizzes and what the percentage of those quizzes and final tests you're going to have. So all your evaluation is going to be there. There's also information on all the faculty teaching that course, people you're going to contact, right? And also talks about your responsibility as a student. So it states very clearly what you have to do. So for every course that you have at Fleming, you'll be able to look at your course outlines and have everything there listed. And that's what we were talking yesterday about at the student panel. How are you going to manage your time, right? Are you going to put all your assignments and dates in your schedule, right, in your calendar, so that you be on top of all your classes? Because sometimes there are many classes, right, many assignments, many assignments on the same week, right? So you have to manage well your time, and based on your course outlines, that's the document that is going to help you to create that calendar.
And that reminds me that we do collaborate with Tutoring and Learning Strategies to put on a couple of workshops for you guys. Building a term planner, which is like a time management tool, is a workshop you can attend and sort of get on top of it right from the start. So keep an eye out for those in week 1 and 2. Also, your learning management system. You're probably hearing people talk about D2L. all the time now. That is where all your course information goes, and often you're submitting assignments through there or keeping up to date in there. So we have workshops on that too. So if you're feeling like this platform feels unfamiliar, or you want to get a handle on it, it's good to come and kind of understand how D2L works right from the start, because you don't want to get into like week 4 or 5 and then be like, I really still don't know what I'm doing in this platform that all your courses are in, because then you start to fall behind and you can't concentrate on the interesting stuff that you're learning in your courses. So seek out library workshops and help for that kind of thing. Keep an eye out for those.
Is the ProQuest bookshop valid for a lifetime or only accessible during your tenure at Fleming? Do you mean ProQuest ebooks and ProQuest resources on the library website? Okay, so that is valid during your tenure at Fleming. So everything is tied to your Fleming login. So once you enter into the databases, if you want to read anything in full text, you will sign in so that you can read all of that. I'm seeing a few questions about enrollment letters, but I'll save those for Christina and for Varsha. Does anyone have questions for Carmen or I while we are here? How to book an appointment for health services. I can find a link for that and send that in the chat.
While we wait for questions, and we'll give it a few minutes, and if there are no questions, we can end the session. Just a reminder for everyone that recordings are already available on our website. I'll put a link there, and that we have one more session today, which is Classroom Expectations, is starting at 11 a.m. So I'm just going to put the link to the recordings.
Okay, so I see a bookstore question, but I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look there, trying to figure out if I can figure it out. So when we say course code, it's usually the specific course. So it might be like COUN 118 or COMM COM 201 or something like that. But I thought the bookstore went by programs. So yeah, there are short forms for the programs. Yeah, I'm just taking a look on the site, see if I can get an answer for you.
Okay, Carmen will investigate. The next question's a really good one. It says, even if we share our notes that we prepare for studying with our friends, right? So you make some personal notes with little study points, things you want to remember for the exam. You're done your studying, you give those notes to your friend. Is that a violation or not? Okay, so violations happen when the collaborating is unauthorized. Okay, so that's an important one. If we are doing work with our friends and we're not supposed to be, but most importantly, it has to do with our submitted work. Okay, so if we're sharing notes to help us study, and then we go into an exam, every question is multiple choice, every person fills it out on their own, you have your own answers, your own grades, there's no issue with studying for things together. Okay, where issues arise is if we're sharing written work. Okay, so sharing completed assignments, sharing essays, sharing PowerPoint slides, whatever it might be, and our peers end up using some of our written work, and then our work ends up being very similar. Okay, so we have to just be careful, more so with submitted work and especially with writing. Okay, so we want to do our own writing, we want to put things in our own writing voice, our own style of writing, and we don't want things to be similar to our classmates, and we don't want them to end up being too similar to the sources that we're using for our research as well.
Okay, I did take a look at the bookstore website, and it is the specific course codes that they're looking for. So think of HCA as your program, but you need to know the individual courses that are required in that program. So again, they will be like four letters and then say 3 numbers, like HLTH 403 or something like that. That would be Health 403. So you'll have several course codes. And on the bookstore website, you can actually put them all in, and then it will generate a full list for you. So does that help? So when you get to the section, it says select course code, you're choosing at each course that you have that term. So you can find that in your course outline or also on the main page. Like here's an example of the healthcare. This is healthcare management. But there's a button that says like curriculum, and you can see the course codes there as well.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of answers Julian's question as well. Where can you check which book you'll need? You can check that through the bookstore website, through the courses, and you also can look in your course outline, you know, the information that your professor is providing to you through D2L. They should have information in there for you as well. Okay, the next one says, will there be a session on how to reference your work? Absolutely. So that is one of those workshop topics that Carmen mentioned. This is the library website homepage. Hopefully it's big enough for everyone to see. If you scroll down to this calendar, this is where all of the library workshops will be posted. Okay, you'll see them in lots of different spots, you know, in your portal, in other places here, but they will always be here on the library website. So you can see today at 2 o'clock, there's a virtual workshop called APA for Beginners. Okay, so you would sign in on your computer or on your phone. It's just about an hour long. We cover the basics, we do a few activities, and it helps you get, you know, a little bit more comfortable with referencing your work and with creating the citations. Okay, and if you kind of scroll backwards here, you see we host them all semester long, and we'll be hosting them all summer long as well. So you're welcome to attend any of those sessions. You do not have to register. You would just click on it, and this is the link to attend. Okay, so lots of sessions on citations, on research, plagiarism, and more. The next question about the bookstore link being different from the book list, yes, definitely address that question to your professor. They might be okay with a little bit of a different version, but they will let you know.
And just a reminder that you guys have a program orientation on May 3rd. So make sure that you are coming to that program orientation. It is mandatory. And you're going to learn everything you need to know to be successful in your courses, and also you're going to have a meeting with your coordinator and professor. So you can ask those questions about, the books that you're going to use or things that you have to do directly to your professors and coordinator that day.
So the next question says, complete any of our 5 workshops and you'll receive the Information Literacy Certificate and co-curricular credit. Okay, CCR stands for co-curricular record. You may take more than one term to complete the 5 workshops. Is there a particular workshop that you can get the CCR credit from? So you have to complete 5 different workshop topics, and then you can have the CCR credit on your record. So if you take 5 different topics of your choice, that shows us that you have built a lot of information literacy skills, and you get the co-curricular credit for that. That's something that you can put on your resume, that you can highlight to future employers, that you've taken workshops and you've really built these skills. But you do have to take 5. So you could take APA for beginners, avoiding plagiarism, evaluating resources. If we go backwards, we have peer-reviewed articles, using Turnitin. Okay, there are lots of different topics for you to choose from. So you just pick ones that work in your schedule, ones that you're interested in. We keep really nice attendance records. So once you have completed the 5, we send you an email with your certificate and we apply the credit to your record. Okay, the next one says, where can we get recorded links of the sessions? I believe Christina has sent that link, so I can resend it to the bottom of the chat again for you. If you are talking about recorded links of library workshop sessions, there are no links for those. Those are live. You have to attend and you have to participate in the little activities that we have so that we know that you are, learning something new and that you're participating throughout. So those are not recorded sessions. Okay. The next one says, I'll be arriving in Canada on the 5th of May. So if you're arriving a little bit late, you can definitely connect with a lot of the services that we mentioned in earlier slides to help you get organized, get started. And I believe that there will be D2L and term planning sessions later on as well. Library sessions also go all summer long. And then you can connect with staff when you need to, ask professors for help as well.
I'd like to remind all international students that are arriving after May 3rd, when you have your program orientation, make sure you connect with your professors, definitely, but also come to International in room C2100. Make sure your documentation is correct. We can take a look at it. We can help you with anything that you need. If you're need housing or anything, any help in that regard, please connect with us. We are here, as we mentioned, as your family. We're here to help you. So come check where we are and connect with us. Thank you. There's a question about May 3rd. I think I've noticed talking about the orientation, the program orientation. As I mentioned before, the program orientation times are being finalized. You're going to receive an email in your Fleming account. So you have to monitor your Fleming account. Always do that because all the information that comes from the college goes into your Fleming account, not your private account. So make sure that you're monitoring that email and the information about your program orientation will be there, right? I don't believe it is there yet, but there we're going to send an email by the end of this week. So you will know by Friday when and where your program orientation is going to be and make sure that you're there. Thank you.
So the next question is about a healthcare insurance card. So I'm also going to leave that one to Christina and Varsha.
So you're only going to have access to your health card once you start your classes. And we'll be talking, if you haven't, but we have already mentioned this in our health more care session in one of the Connect and Get Ready, which you should have received already links to watch that session. So please watch the session.
Okay, the next one says, is this recorded? Yes, this one was recorded, so you can return back to it. The next one says, when does fall intake start? The program list shows September 3rd. Your offer letter shows September 5th. I believe that's normal. It's possible that the semester starts and there's orientation activities, and then maybe classes start on September 5th. But yeah, usually fall intake starts that first week in September.
And we are 1 minute to end this session, and I'd like to thank Carmen and Rebecca for being here, Varsha as well, and Bharat, who is in the background checking your questions. Thank you for being here. It's so important that you are attending the sessions, and please be our ambassadors. If you know other students who did not attend, please ask them to watch the recordings. They are so important, and although they were not here in person, this information is very important for our students, all international students, to know. So there are other sessions there as well. Today was one of those days where all the sessions are extremely important. Immigration 101, this session about academic integrity, and also the next one, which is classroom expectations. It will all be there for you to watch again if you want to, but please tell your friends, watch them. Thank you so much, Carmen, Rebecca, and my team for being here, and see you at 11. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Look forward to meeting you in the library.
And that's May 2nd.